Thanks for tuning in to the Potpixi Show at rockmetaltalk.com. I hope you got your joints and you're ready to listen to some great music. Sit back and chill with me, your host, Kelly V, the Potpixi. Thanks so much to Lawrence Wallace for this amazing opening music, and welcome to the show. It's a very special day. Coming to you now is my very first live video interview with the incredible Brian Vollmer of Helix'S. We're going to start the show off with Heavy Metal Love. Stay tuned. This is a great one. Thanks so much, everybody, for supporting and listening. Kelly V, the Potpixi, rockmetaltalk.com. Hey everybody, it's Kelly V, the Potpixi here for rockmetaltalk.com. This is a very, very special interview. It's my very first live video interview and done at the incredible Brian Vollmer's home. Thank you so much to you, Brian and Linda, for inviting me into your incredible house. This was very, very special and a whole lot of fun, and I can't wait to come back and hang out with you guys again. As it turns out, we got a lot of mutual friends, and that's something that's really exciting. I'm so very, very proud to be doing what I do for rockmetaltalk.com. I'm very, very proud to do my work on my show and to be able to speak to all of you, but most importantly, to share what I experience with all the listeners at the Potpixi Show and rockmetaltalk.com. So thank you. Stay tuned. This is a good one, and enjoy the music as well. Have a good smoke with me, Kelly V, Potpixi. Hey, it's Kelly V.
Holy cow, I'm going back further.
I know, eh? We should be more 6 feet apart, but hey.
I look like I got a gut.
Me too. Are you cool? Is that good, or do you want to go somewhere else?
Okay.
We're good?
Yeah, we're good.
All right. Hey, it's Kelly V for rockmetaltalk.com and the Potpixi Show. We're talking with the most incredible Brian Vollmer of Helix here in London. Thank you so much for having me over at your house. Here. What an honor. What an honor. For those of you who don't know, you're locally from this area.
Right? I am. I'm actually from Kitchener, and I was raised up by Listowel on a farm.
Oh, wow.
Do I look like a farm boy?
You so do. You so do. Kitchener has a really great history from, music. I don't know. Lulu's is a great, iconic place. Do you remember that place?
I played Lulu's a couple times. I played the Coronet many times up in Victoria Street. A lot of old rock and roll acts used to go through the Coronet and at Lulu's, mostly because of Bill Jeff Ross, who was an agent down at Dram in Waterloo. We were another band, a Drab Agency, but we played the Coronet and, like I said, Lulu's, but many bands come out of Kitchener, Copperpenny, Major Hoople's Boarding House, Yukon, Charity Brown, and that's where we come from. So.
And you're now here in London, where I am, and that's really awesome. I'm just learning a lot about London, and it's pretty epic.
Why? Where are you from?
Well, Toronto, Kitchener, Toronto. Yep, and then I went to the States. So you go down to Florida. Do you play in Florida when you're down there?
No, we can't because you got to get a work permit. Very difficult.
It is. It's very expensive. I'm learning that too as a promoter. Yeah. I think that what's happened with COVID has turned the whole industry around, and it's, we're now able to do things on a media platform from around the world. The bands are able to do things online that negate having the need for those kinds of, contracts to have to be acquired, right?
Right.
I think that's great. I think it sucks that we can't go out and play live music, though.
Well, it's I guess it's pretty cool that we can connect all over the world, but I think people like to, I think it's so unnatural what they're doing with the quarantine because people like to rub shoulders, shake hands, have sex.
Yeah.
Like we're a touchy-feely type of species.
Hey everybody, I hope you're enjoying. We're going to play right now for you Even Jesus by Helix. Kelly V, the Potpixi on rockmetaltalk.com.
Money, but I'm living the life of Even Jesus, even Jesus wasn't loved in his hometown. Even Jesus, even Jesus wasn't loved in his hometown. Even Jesus wasn't loved and loved and loved. Even Jesus wasn't loved in his hometown. Even Jesus, 'cause even Jesus wasn't loved in his hometown. Even Jesus wasn't loved and loved and loved. Even Jesus wasn't loved in his hometown. So how we make the tracks when the sun goes down.
Hey everybody, thanks so much for tuning in. You're listening to Kelly V on the Potpixi Show at rockmetaltalk.com. We're going to get right back to that interview for you, so stay tuned and spark one up. Kelly V.
And you can already see the cracks in it now. People are demanding that, lay off the quarantine shit because, there's other health aspects too of going into quarantine. There's people jumping off bridges and stressed out, and people not getting cancer treatment, and their heart stents and looked after for the strokes, and being diagnosed as having cancer and things like that. So my prediction has always been that it's only going to last so long. You can only lock people up so long and they rebel, and that's kind of what's happening. And but as far as concerts and groups of big people getting back together, I don't foresee that happening in the next couple of years. It's a death knell for the music industry because you take Cher, U2, Bruce Springsteen, right? They're running with 60 transport trucks and things like that. Well, someone has to pay for all that stuff, and if people won't congregate in large numbers anymore, if you have to socially distance and all that other stuff, it boils down to a matter of dollars and cents. Promoters had a razor thin profit margin before COVID, so now what's going to happen?
We're going to take a break right there, and we're going to play one of my favorite Helix songs, That Day Gonna Come. I hope you're enjoying. I hope you're chilling out, got a good smoke going, and you're liking the interview and the tunes. Love you all so much. Kelly V, the Potpixi, rockmetaltalk.com.
Dropped out of school at 16. Said he couldn't take it anymore. Mom and Dad begged him reconsider, son, but he just turned away and walked out that door. He wondered to him.
Hi everybody, thanks so much for sharing this special event for me. This is my very first live interview. Thank you so much to Brian for your humility and inviting me into your home and just being as wonderful as you are. So I hope you're enjoying it as much as I did. Keep listening. Kelly V, Potpixi, rockmetaltalk.com.
They're not going to have the money to pay these big acts. Big acts are going to have to scale way back. I'm seeing the way to reintegrate Helix back into the music scene as being through our acoustic show that we were supposed to do actually before all the COVID shit hit the fan. And that is, it was called An Intimate Night with Helix, Acoustic Songs and Storytelling. And what we were going to do is go out there and basically do a more theatrical type of approach to Helix. You know, after all, Helix was the original Canadian heavy metal band, more so than Anvil
I just
or
interviewed
Killer Dwarfs or any of those bands,
Yeah.
because we were an
It's
international
true, it's
band
true.
and we had a major record deal and we sold millions of albums. And even before we got signed to Capitol Records, we were touring coast to coast, which I don't believe any of those bands were doing.
We're going to take a break right there, and we're going to play one of my favorite Helix songs, That Day Gonna Come. I hope you're enjoying. I hope you're chilling out, got a good smoke going, and you're liking the interview and the tunes. Love you all so much. Kelly V, the Potpixi, rockmetaltalk.com.
Come on!
I hope you're enjoying the show. We're going to get right back to the interview. You've been listening to Kelly V, of course, Potpixi. Thanks so much.
And so there's an incredible history behind the band. That's what, I was mentioning to you before that, around you see all this memorabilia. And about 2 years ago, I donated all this stuff to the University of Toronto. I ended up getting a huge tax deduction. And the reason that happened was because in the annals of Canadian musical history, Helix holds a very important part. We broke down a lot of walls for Canadian bands. We were one of the first acts to go and tour extensively in the United States. I'll bet after Rush did it, we followed in Rush's footsteps. But we went down there. We were one of the first Canadian acts to have an international U.S. record deal. We were never, ever, and a lot of people don't realize this, but we were never, ever signed to the Canadian label. We were licensed to the Canadian label after we lost our deal with Capitol EMI out of Los Angeles, but we were never signed to a Canadian label.
Oh, wow.
And we were one of the first bands that went to Europe, and just so on and so forth. So getting back to the acoustic show, we got lots to talk about. We got stories. We met everyone in the music business, from Mitch Ryder to Alvin Leah 10 years after, to Gene Simmons. We toured all across Europe with Kiss. We toured all across the United States with Kevin DeBrone, Whitesnake, and Quiet Riot, and David Coverdale. We when we did the Gimme Good Lovin' video, Robin Williams, Richard Pryor, and Rip Taylor all came down to watch us film. We met all sorts of hockey players and movie stars, and so we got lots of stories to tell. And we see that show, which will be in soft seat halls, as a way once again to ease over this period, because we're going to have to find some way before they get back to large numbers of people once again congregating and rubbing shoulders and squeezing into venues, which you need to have.
I hope you're enjoying the show. We're going to get right back to the interview. You've been listening to Kelly V, of course, Potpixi. Thanks so much.
Dream on, though it's hard to tell, though you're fooling yourself. Dream on, dream on. You can hide away. There is nothing to say, so dream on. You can laugh at me because I'm crying. You can tell your friends how much I begged you to stay. You can live your fantasies without me, but you'll never know how much I needed you. Dream on. It's so easy for you, but I'm broken in two. So dream on, dream on.
thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in and sharing this incredible interview with me. We're going to get right back to it and hope you enjoy. Kelly V.
Happen in order for promoters to make money
Yeah.
and for bands to get paid.
I just figured out how to get actually paid to do online, take ticket sales, and actually pay that.
Mhm.
So our online concerts are moving forward, and but I've watched a few, and it's so weird to be at your favorite band's concert, and they're there and they're singing, and it's great, but there's nobody else in the room. You know, there's something really lost there, and but you know, it has.
Well, it's kind of like almost like buying other stuff on the internet, like clothes, right? As
Yeah,
much
you
as
can't
clothes
see
look
and
nice
feel
on the
it.
internet, right? Most people like to take products and hold them in their hands and roll them around and feel the texture of the cloth and you know
Exactly.
and try them on to see if they actual fit and like right then, you know what I mean? And you lose that somewhat, you know. And as far as music goes, music is that you know, sitting like this far away from the we're sitting apart and feeling that electricity between human beings, and you know,
Yeah.
it's that invisible thing that artists feed off of and that crowds feed off of. But you know, it's a what's it called, a symbiotic relationship,
Yeah.
and I don't know.
I think, you know, not too often though when you go to a show do you get to peer into somebody's, you know, personal home or their workspace.
Pretty messy, isn't it?
Or get to see, you know, where they create or what inspires them. But I think that's a really awesome personal touch.
Well, this room is actually the result of just trying to move really quickly last year. When we moved out of playing Helix, we've been over there for 28 years, and so we had, you know, my real pack rack. So we had everything just in every nook and cranny filled with stuff. So when we moved, we had to do it within a month, and so we moved everything over here, and we had stuff down here like literally piled this deep.
So
And-
for those of the people out there that don't know, explain what this is. As a daughter of a person who's sold antiques all their life, you know, I really
Right.
appreciate the Victorian, the twist on everything. And where did
Well-
that start?
Well, the Victorian stuff over at the other house started when we moved in there. We didn't have much money, Linda and I, so I noticed that in the neighborhood that people were throwing out like beautiful architectural stuff in the garbage, and I was kind of tuned into the artsy fartsy scene in Toronto through my hairdresser and people like that, connections
Yeah.
in the music business, and one day my hairdresser said to me, "Hey, he says, can you get me a porch post?" I mean, what do you mean? What are you talking about? He says, "You know those Victorian porch posts?" I says, "What do you mean, like a porch post off a Victorian home?" He goes, yeah, that's it, yeah. He says, "Can you get me one of those?" I said, "Well, I see people tearing porches off. I guess I'll try to get you one. What, you want me to take the paint off for you?" He goes, no, don't take the paint off. That's the best part.
Yeah, all
Right?
withered.
And I said, "Well, I don't know. How much is it worth to you?" He goes, "I'll give you $200 for that post." I go, "$200, right?" And so, you know, I went and found a couple posts, but that got me onto it. And then I became addicted to collecting architectural antiques. And I started dragging it home because I had no money. We had no money. So I found that I take this stuff, I find it for free, basically, and I work it into the design of the house. And we literally renovated the whole house with architectural antiques. And then MTV came to the house. They filmed the house. And we had Much Music there. We had the London Free Press. We had all sorts of magazines checking out the house. And Linda's a great decorator, and it was a very unusual
It's really great.
design of the house. Very open concept. And anyway, I became famous for that. And then we moved over here. But when we moved over here, we just had to like move quick, you know. And then we came home this spring from Florida. And in 2 weeks, we put all the shelves up and stuff because there's merchandise like everywhere.
Everywhere.
Merchandise and
Everywhere. It's
memorabilia and
wonderful.
photographs and furniture and shit.
It's wonderful. So what would you say is I'm lived a long time in Toronto, your favorite place to play in Toronto?
Well, it used to be the Gasworks back in the day because we always found that we weren't really a Toronto band. We found that bands that were really big in Toronto were usually bands that never left Toronto, and we weren't that kind of a band. We toured from coast to coast through the bars. We had to play music, and you know, back when we started, we were a cover band, we had to play music that went over not only at the Nickelodeon down Yonge Street, but it had to go over in, I don't know, Portage la Prairie, Manitoba, and Yorkton, Saskatchewan, and Calgary, Alberta, and so we had to be very eclectic as a band, and that variety in the cover material that we played back then bled over into our original music. So when we finally started playing, by this time most of the cover stuff we did in the set was like Judas Priest and bands like that, Richie Blackmore's Rainbow, and so that's how our music started to sound. Kind of like a combination of all those bands.
I went to college in the East Coast and was out there for a couple of years. But, you know, the Trailer Park Boys, be remiss to mention that. So,
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I met the Trailer Park Boys after my old drummer Archie Gamble had turned me on to the fact that we were in a episode where they discussed Rush and Helix. And I didn't know anything about the show. And so I went and watched a couple shows of it. This is hilarious.
And it's actually, it is a comedy, but it's a documentary of East Coast life. So
yes, it's
everything
very reflective of that.
Down to the set placements was very accurate to life out there. But
And
anyways, great
so
show.
I watched this show, and I went and contacted the director, Mike Clattenburg, and I introduced myself, and he went, "Well, I'm a big Helix fan," and I didn't realize it, but just a couple of weeks ago, I found a script that Mike Clattenburg had sent me years before.
I don't know where.
And when you look at the script, you see a lot of similarities in that script, what they were offering to us at the time to perform, and what eventually became the Trailer Park Boys, which is kind of ironic. But
Wow.
I contacted Mike Clattenburg, and we became friends over the internet through emails. And I said, "Look, Mike, I've never seen a TV show filmed before. If I pay for it, if I fly out there on my own dime and pay for my own hotel and that, would it be all right with you if I came down and watched the show being filmed? Because I've never seen a TV show be filmed before." So Mike said, "Sure." So I flew out to Halifax, and they sent a stretch limo to pick me up because the airport's way out of town in Halifax. And I drove in, and they took me to the set, and they were filming it at the hospital. And the guys come over, and they were like, they were treating me like I was a star. I was in awe because I was, anyway.
Yeah.
I watched them film all day long. It was hilarious. And the funny thing was, they had all these scripts. And the thing I found really funny about the scripts was that they'd have the F-bomb right through it. Like,
Yeah, I'm
so you're
telling you.
supposed to say...
It is
like,
an East Coast thing that every second word is that.
no, it's an Irish
And-
thing.
Hey everybody, I hope you're having a good time, just chilling out, having a good smoke, listening to the interview. We're going to hit you up with Make Me Do Anything You Want right now by Helix. Thanks so much, everybody. You've been listening to Kelly V, the Potpixi, on rockmetaltalk.com, everybody.
In the morning light, feels so good by me. It could be so right, you and me tonight. So make me do anything you want.
I hope you're enjoying the show. We're going to get right back to the interview. You've been listening to Kelly V, of course, Potpixi. Thanks so much. And Jeebus Effin as well. Right, like, as, you know, I went to get bread, Jesus Effin. You know, it just falls out of the face out there. And when I came back here, people were like, Kelly, why do you swear so much? Mm-hmm. You know, it took a while to get out of the, out of myself.
So, at the end of the day, after they're done filming, and they're hilarious. They're so, you know, when they do a scene, they go into a scene and first they get the script out, so they do a little huddle. At least back then they did. It might be Mike Clattenburg and the characters in the scene, and they have a little huddle and they discuss what they're trying to do, you know, the emotion they're trying to get across, and then they go and they film scene. Well, then they do the same scene over again, but this time they ad-lib a little bit, right? So they do it again, a little funnier, and then the last is just an all-out ad-lib, go crazy, anything goes, say anything, right? Well, the third one would just have everybody just be like on the set, like trying to control the laughter. It's just so funny, these guys, and they make it look so easy, like, oh, anybody could do that. Well, I did a little skit with them at the end of that trip out, and it's an extra on one of the DVDs. But I remember when I did it, what I learned. They said, okay, this is what we're going to do, right? So I kind of practiced what I was supposed to do. When I go action, it was like I was going, and they were going, and all, before I knew it, the scene was over. I went, what happened? Right? So, you know, it looks easy, but I think that's because they're so good at it, and they're so they're pros. And when I go out there, Rob, they're all down-to-earth people. Yeah, Rob took me down to the studio. He gave me my own personal tour of the studio while I was there, just me and him. Great big studio. This was when John Dunworth was still alive, and he took me on the set of where John used to show. And he showed me all the old vehicles, the Shipmobile and J-Rock's bus, and so pretty close to those guys, and they're great. Yeah, and so I don't know what the future's going to hold for them either, so stay tuned.
I think every Canadian has a very special place for the Trailer Park Boys and for Helix, so the two of them together is great. We're going to take a break here and play The Storm for you by Helix. Hope you're enjoying it as much as me. Kelly V, Potpixi.
You see you got troubles, babe, weighing heavy on your mind. But don't you worry, no, gonna leave them all far behind. In the morning light, when you're lying by my side, I'm gonna wipe away the tears you cried. You cried, you cried. Yeah. If you need loving, babe, I'm your man. Gonna do the best for you, the best I can. In the morning light, when you're lying by my side, I'm gonna wipe away
I hope you're enjoying the show. We're going to get right back to the interview. You've been listening to Kelly V, of course, Potpixi. Thanks so much. We never know. So where would you say was your favorite place in the States?
To play?
Yeah.
No, my favorite place to play is in Barcelona, Spain.
Well, that's altogether different, isn't it?
Huh?
It's altogether different, isn't it? How do you
Well,
find
we
the
played there
metal
last summer
community?
at Rock Barcelona. It was just fantastic. We played with ZZ Top and Def Leppard.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Twisted Sister too. In fact, Dee Snyder got up there and Dee goes, he says, I'd like to thank all the bands that are here. And there's like 15,000 people out front. Eh?
Right.
He gets up there, and by the way, Dee Snyder, great performer.
I love Dee Snyder.
Yeah, fantastic performer. He gets up there, he goes, I'd like to thank all the bands that are here this weekend. Helix. And I'd like to thank Helix. And I'd like to thank Helix. I can't think of any of the other. I'd like to thank Helix. I can't think of any of the other bands. So, we couldn't ask for a better plug. Actually, Dee's best friend is a guy named Danny Stanton, and Danny now handles us for the U.S. and Europe as far as booking goes. And I've been talking to Danny. I just talked to him yesterday morning. So if it ever gets started back up, he'll probably get something happen for us too. So.
Oh, I mean, I really hope that you guys get moving if you can get into the States.
Well, me too.
I know there's places that are up and running. I know there's places that are doing concerts with no limits still, in different states. Booking a tour is almost impossible because you have to skip a state quarantine, or just
Well,
go
even before
straight
that, it was
to...
impossible to do it because they got a 30% withholding tax. I ain't going there with 30% withholding tax.
Yeah.
Well, no, over in Sweden, Sweden's got like 13%.
Yeah.
Spain's got like 13%, right? That's reasonable. 30% is not reasonable. It's
Not
unreasonable.
at all.
30%, like think about it. You got to pay for your flights, your wages, your parking, your friggin' agent, blah, 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 blah. Where am I supposed to make money? I'm putting it all together and taking the risk.
I had no idea how hard promoting was, and over the last year and a half, people have actually told me, Kelly, just stop, it's killing you. You know what I mean? It's just such hard work. But when it pays off, something magical happens.
When it pays off, something magical happens. Yeah, it's called you make money for once.
Maybe not necessarily the money, but the music. That's a moment in time that will never ever, be taken away. Right?
Well, listen, I think I should call her quits here and I think have some supper with the
Me
whip.
too. Me too. So, all right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank
I really
you for
appreciate
having
it.
me.
Yeah. All right.
Helix fans everywhere. Don't be square. See you around. Catch you on the flip side. Whoosh.
Kelly V, thanks so much. Hey everybody, thanks so much for listening. We're going to get back to a Helix song for you right now with Don't Get Mad, Get Even. This is a good one. Thanks everybody. Kelly V, Potpixi.
Your pony burning up inside, 'cause you got nothing to lose. You'll let 'em strip away your pride before you break all the rules. When you find an answer, you know it all is said and done. Won't be taking any chances, not with anyone. Speak out, don't get mad, just get it.
I just want to say that this interview is extremely important and one of the most career-building ones I've done so far. So thank you so much to Brian Vollmer. Thanks so much to rockmetaltalk.com, as always, for giving me my voice. And I really am excited to release this around our concert dates. And thank you so much to all our performers. And thank you so much for tuning in and watching. Hope you're having a safe time during COVID and that you're having the happiest. Thank you so much to Lawrence Wallace for the music behind my words right now and all your support for so long, brother. And thank you so much to all my people behind the scenes and all the people helping me get through this. It's really appreciated and it will never be forgotten. Thanks so much.